The biggest new thing is the PCA that was just released just over a week ago by the Scottish Government, which now gives a prescription pad to every IP qualified optometrist. There are 72 of those in Scotland out of the 193 I think it is now in the UK, so a big number. Although we've got a tenth of the population, we've got almost half the IP optometrists. And the Scottish Government has realised this and produced this form, which means you can apply for a prescription pad. So the big advantage of that is now in Scotland you can see a patient with any eye problem, claim from the NHS for that, give the patient a prescription if necessary, and they have that paid by the NHS, so there's no cost to the patient. So it really improves the ability for optometrists to sort these problems rather than patients going to the GP or having to wait a long time in the hospital. Closes the last of the kind of hurdles we had for people not wanting to see their optometrist for these problems. Although we could deal with the problem, they would have to pay for it. So now there's no payment involved from the patient, which has been very helpful. It's anything for use on or around the eyes, so it's essentially anything I could ever think I would want to use. There's nothing I've come up against and thought that's not something I can't prescribe, unless it's just totally out with our remit. But as long as it's for the eyes or around the eyes, it works well. Optometry Scotland have been discussing that, I imagine, with the government for a while now, and I think they've made the argument, which is a good argument, that the optometrist is the right person to see these people, not the GP in a lot of cases, and probably not the hospital, because a lot of these things don't need a particularly specialist person to see. You need an optometrist level specialist. And the government have realised this and said it would be cost effective and useful for these people to have NHS prescribing. It's only been around, the PCA came out I think just about 10 days ago. It's brand new, just appeared. I filled in the paperwork, but I haven't got my pad back yet. But it will be useful, and I see quite a few people with these sorts of conditions from local GPs, and being IP qualified has been great, but when you say to somebody, I can give you this medication, it's going to cost you £5, always isn't the easiest thing, but this will be very helpful, I think, for these sorts of things. As I say, it will remove the last hurdle for people seeking help somewhere else.